I don't know where to begin. I guess to begin with, the discipline that I studied and did research on was parasitology. And now that it's after lunch, I can give you great details. It's actually was gastrointestinal parasites, worms as you might call them, particularly of livestock. And I've always told my children that horse manure has been very good to me. And, that training was particularly special. And I don't know how to correlate how I handle chancellors with studying my discipline, but suffice it to say that I've had to puddle through significant amounts of fecal material in my life. And my children always wondered about my sanity when we did that, but it was a great ride. And so I've been on this job now 90 days. And how can I sum it up? It's been full of emotions. It's been whimsical at moments, it's been melancholy at moments, it's been exciting and challenging, and the thrill of learning a lot in a hurry. When I think about the whimsical moments, it's like my new office. I realized it's been really cloudy lately, can be really cold when the sun's not out, and really, really hot when the sun is out. And those melancholy moments when you leave people behind. When I left Morgan Hall right before Christmas and left the people at the Institute of Agriculture behind, that was a melancholy moment. There are those moments when you bump into a textbook that you taught out of for years at the University of Illinois and you throw it on a shelf in the new office and think, boy, that was a lot of fun. It really was. And that box of data that I had from a research project that we published about 80% of it, but the graduate student in that case and myself is at fault, never got the rest of it done. I just couldn't bear to throw it away. I put it back in storage because, I don't know, Deb thinks I'm nuts. I'll never, ever get it published, but I just couldn't bear to throw it away. But all in all, it's been wonderful. It's been really wonderful. People quickly have identified who I am. And I've realized that in a lot of ways because people will walk up and give me an attaboy and say, aren't you the new president? And that feels really good. And while I'm a veterinarian at training, I'll tell you by training and was a practicing veterinarian for several years, both in a private practice setting and then at a teaching hospital at the University of Illinois. Deb doesn't trust me with her show dogs. In fact, she often says, get me a real vet when the dogs are sick, and we take them to the teaching hospital in Knoxville. But it's a pleasure to be here today with you and to celebrate the sesquicentennial of this great university. I've been here a handful of times in the last 3 months, and I've really enjoyed getting to know Chattanooga and met many of you already, and I look forward to meeting more of you and working with all of you. When you look at this UT system, it's been defined by our Board of Trustees before I took this job, along with President Shimmick, and we owe him a great debt for his interim service as president. I learned a great deal from Jan, but it's really been defined as a system that helps all components of the University of Tennessee, and that it facilitates collaborations, it facilitates centralized services that are effective and efficient, it works to advance all components of the system, and it doesn't dial down on the knobs at any given campus and tell a chancellor, turn that knob to the left 3 degrees. Instead, as Chancellor Brown has articulated, we've asked our chancellors to set goals. We ask our chancellors to achieve those goals, and we hold them accountable for that. And so that's how it works in the new model, without a doubt. To those legislators in the audience, and in office, I had a great opportunity to meet with you earlier this afternoon. I appreciate all you do in serving the University of Tennessee. We really appreciate our ability to move forward the UT Foundation initiative and gather the necessary approvals for that, and it's on to the governor. That, in a nutshell, ladies and gentlemen, will allow us to raise at the University of Tennessee across the entire system for all the various campuses and institutes by 2020 another $100 million a year in external resources through development activities. Frankly, we're behind where many of our counterparts are in doing this and making this move, and we look forward to the fact that it'll allow us to be a better place, even in a time when the state's not able to help us as much as they'd like through allocation of state resources. The Complete College Act, while there'll be some pain in it for some of our campuses from the standpoint of adjustments they'll have to make in order to be competitive, we can compete. And we appreciate the legislature's wisdom in passing that bill last year because it's good for Tennessee, because it now provides resources to universities based on performance, particularly around graduation rate. It also identified our missions across the various campuses that we have in the state. And, you know, all in all, if you think about the impact it has on Tennessee, it provides a trained workforce more quickly by now rewarding universities for graduating students more quickly. And it also improves citizens' lives, because the fact of the matter is, if you have a baccalaureate degree, the average starting salary for a person with a baccalaureate degree is $20,000 more per year than if they have a high school diploma alone. So it's good for Tennessee, it's good for business, and it's good for the families of Tennessee, and that we have more college graduates out there. Of young adults, we have about 21% of our population that have degrees. The national average is closer to 30%. And so this is an aspirational thing for the state, and Governor Bredesen deserves lots of credit for it, as well as the legislature, and our new governor, Haslam, fully supports it. What can I say but good things about your good Senator Corker, your own Senator Corker from here in Chattanooga. At the system level, we're very fortunate, along with UTC, to have him in Washington, D.C. We've built ties with him. He's built ties, obviously, while a mayor here in Chattanooga with UTC, and has done very good things for the city, and I'm convinced he'll do very good things for our entire university system, and we appreciate him as well. I think that it's important to realize that these aspirational goals that the Chancellor spoke about and the gap analysis is a theme we will do throughout the system. Knoxville's already done that. They're a little bit further ahead than Chattanooga from the standpoint of having done the gap analysis a little bit sooner, but we're asking all the campuses and institutes to do that, because it's good to have aspirational goals. It's good to be thinking about how you close that gap and having a strategy about how you do it. And we will hold all of our campuses and institutes responsible for getting there eventually. And always remember that the journey is as important as getting to the goal, I guess in 2016 of being top 10 and 2021 of being top 5 here. So it's not without some effort that that will happen, but the commitment of the place and the horsepower of a university is the faculty and staff that drive it. We'll focus around how to do that, and I'm sure we'll be able to achieve it. And I'm proud of UTC and their blue and gold. And I've been to a basketball game here. I didn't do as well as I should have from the standpoint of how the outcome of that game went, but I had a wonderful time, and we'll be back and continue to cheer them on. The other thing I would call your attention to here in Chattanooga is the Health Science Center's connection with Erlanger here, the Health Science Center in Memphis, and in the fact that that's really part of our statewide Health Science Center and the activities that go on there to help keep us all healthy. And when we get into serious difficulty from the standpoint of trauma, it's the key place to go. They wanted to send my son there after he had an automobile accident in North Georgia once. They were going to fly him in by helicopter about 2 years ago, but we pushed hard to have him come to Knoxville, not because we didn't want him to come to Chattanooga, please, but because we live in Knoxville. And he spent about 10 days in the hospital, and through the grace of God and the good care he got and the wonderful doctors that come out of our Health Science Center, he got better. So that's an important front door on the university there as well. Great cities like Chattanooga deserve great universities, and we're very committed to advancing UTC. And you know, we want a fine city like Chattanooga to have the very finest university that we can deliver. And the aspirational goals that Chancellor Rakes has talked about are really helpful in that regard, and will no doubt put us on the right trajectory. Chancellor Brown, sorry. Chancellor Brown, I got Martin, I'm sorry. But you know, getting to be a top 5 public master's university is a good thing, and we'll be getting there sooner or later, and I expect sooner, without a doubt. They've done a lot of things here at Chattanooga that I've learned about from the standpoint of the Complete College Act in order to help their students matriculate more quickly and be able to get through their program and get that bachelor's degree. They have a 3+1 program in English that I think is very innovative, Roger, from the standpoint of one, being able to sell to students on it is a good thing. And basically this is an opportunity where a student who says, you know, I may not have the best English skills and I may need a little more help, can actually opt to sign up for an extra hour of class a week. So instead of being in class 3 hours, they're in 4 hours, right, Phil? And believe it or not, you get oversubscribed, right? I mean, you have more students who want to actually take the 4 hours of classroom time because they want to hone their skills and improve them than would just take the 3. So that's a good approach to providing extra time on writing skills. It's a pilot program this year. The results seem to be very good, and I'm very appreciative of the leadership here on this campus, Chancellor Brown and the Provost Phil Odom, looking at new innovative ways along with the faculty and staff to do those kinds of things that will make them more competitive as we get into the Complete College Act and perform any better. One of the other things in the gap analysis that I don't think was up there on Roger's slides, he has many, many more data points, is if you look at how this university performs in comparison to its peers, when you look at its endowment, it's absolutely #1. So the University of Chattanooga Foundation should be applauded for their long-term support of this university, and we count on working with them in a partnership henceforth. So here's my vision for UTC. In the educational region, you're a metropolitan campus that serves a distinct area here in Tennessee, North Georgia, and Northern Alabama. You provide a solid base of education, a solid base for over 125 years now, and strong programs in business, engineering, and liberal arts. In the discovery area, the SIM Center and energy research, hydrodynamics, aerodynamics, looking at energy and computational engineering around those is very, very important. And lastly, connectivity. And great universities do 3 things. They educate, they discover, and they connect. So we've talked about education, we've talked about discovery, we're talking about connecting now. And a good example of that is Representative Tommy Brown's effort with International Academy and embracing a role as a metropolitan university in a thriving downtown that reaches out. And that facility is amazing in the fact that UTC students mentor 4th and 5th graders through a program called PAUSE there, Post-Secondary Awareness with Success. Talk to students on campus here at UTC about going to college and field trips to campuses and those sorts of things. In some ways, coming from a little rural town in central Illinois, that happened to me. Because I remember the reason I got focused on the University of Illinois, to a large extent, my parents were pushing me that way, but what really sold me was a chance to talk to some students on that campus when I was a sophomore in high school, a little older than these children. But I think the notion of talking to young people early in their careers about going to college can really impact and change their lives. So I take my hat off to that kind of effort at asking young people about college early, telling them they can be successful, giving them the right training educationally K through 12 to make them more likely a success when they get into college. The other good news about it is 40% increase in attendance at school occurs in that program, and 98% of those students avoid delinquent behavior. So it's a great program, and it's a great connection with our College of Education here and the metropolitan community. I like all the campuses, and I'll tell you that I like this one a lot because I've felt very welcome here at Chattanooga. Blue and gold looks good on me. And, you know, I want to see, as I put it, and I've said this several times at staff meetings, what the president of the University of Tennessee really needs to do is take care of all of his children around the table. So that's all of these institutes and campuses. It's UTC, it's UT Martin, it's the Health Science Center in Memphis, it's the Institute of Public Service, it's the Institute for Agriculture, and University of Tennessee at Knoxville. So my commitment to you is I care a great deal about your wonderful university here. I will work hard to learn all I can about it, to visit here often, to try to advance it as very much as we can collectively together. And we've put together a good team thus far. We'll keep building on teamwork. I've already got chancellors meeting together as opposed to meeting individually with the president in an effort to say it's all about teamwork. It means that I can't always do what Chancellor Brown asks me, but I'll always consider it, and I'll always try to figure out what's in the best interest of each of those kids around the table, and those of you who have been parents understand that completely. Thank you very much for having me, and I appreciate the opportunity to be here, and let's have another great 125 successful years here at UTC. Thank you.